Welcome back to my personal development videos. First of all, I'd like to say a massive thank you to everyone that managed to track me down on Twitter and Facebook to ask me questions. At the end of this one, I will go through some questions I've been asked. I also understand why people are not putting comments under these videos. You did explain that in your messages to me, and I completely understand that. But yeah, please, you're more than welcome to message me on Facebook or on Twitter. If you can track me down on Instagram as well. I'll try and put some of those links in the bottom. So today we're talking about anxiety. It's fast becoming a major problem in this country when it comes to mental health. So many months and years are lost to people for having anxiety. Some people can manage to get on and struggle through their day-to-day life. It's one of those mental health conditions that sometimes can feel as if it's not there, but then it is always hanging around in the background waiting to bite you in the backside. It does stop us from enjoying life to its maximum. It can stop us from doing many things. What we're going to be looking at today is the signs of anxiety in us, the belief system around anxiety, and how we can reduce it in our lives. Unfortunately with it, a lot of people don't know they're suffering from it, for anxiety. And I mean, these videos are a bit different. Yeah, you will learn more about me. And I guess that's what makes me a little bit different. I've been looking around online at a lot of other anxiety videos and personal development videos, and I noticed they all look very, very professional, and I probably will. I'll probably increase the way that I do these videos or change the way that I do these videos. But for now, what was important for me was just start getting that information out there so people can get the help straight away. So it wasn't about how I look or what these videos look like in the background. It's about what I'm telling you and what you can gain from these. And these videos I tell you this stuff, but of course you're the ones who've got to go away and work on it yourself. So it does take a lot of motivation your end. Looking at the other videos around, they're good. There's some really good advice in them. You will learn more about me as these go along. I'm really bad for mainly with my private clients, using myself as not fodder. I use myself as an example, especially when it comes to anxiety. My confidence in my life hasn't been that bad. I've always been quite shy, and I know if people know me now, they think that may be a little bit hard to believe because I tend to pop up everywhere on social media. But yeah, I'm actually quite a shy person. Never really like talking about my feelings. Something that I've got a lot better at in the last few years, which is ironic. I've been teaching this stuff for 13 years. I should learn by now to know if things are getting on top of me, to open up and talk to people. But as I said in one of my videos before, I got diagnosed with anxiety back in October. And for me, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth because I started beating myself up even more because I do it for a job. Yeah, and it was a big shock. I was thinking, it can't be right, anxiety. I look back over 2 years of my life, and I worked it out where it come from. Now in the past we've had financial problems and things like that, but the last 2 years have not, they're not saying they've been the worst in my life. Definitely I've had worse at times. I think my pride and my passion probably caused a lot of my own anxiety. I wanted to achieve something, which was a local park, and for me, I'm one of the people that wants it now. So we come up with ideas, and I didn't want to sit around and wait. I wanted to go out and do it now. I remember we got a building, and I was like, right, let's go, let's dig the holes, let's do this, let's do that. And so I was trying to, if something was holding us back, we'd get out there and get the diggers ourselves or whatever. So we was always quite keen on moving the project forward, But now when I look at things, I could never wait for Christmas as a kid. Now, if I wanted everything now, the Christmas presents, when I knew where they were, and I just wanted them now. And I remember one year, my dad brought me the AT-AT Star Wars, or they now call it the AT-AT, which is a completely different discussion, right? It's the AT-AT Walker. So they brought me that, and I see it as they come into the house with it. And I remember my dad going, "Oh no, it's all right, it's all right." And my mum going, "Oh well, we may as well have it now, we may as well have it now." And I got my hopes up, Oh yeah, this is great. I'm going to get this AT-AT Walker now. And it's similar. I really couldn't. I mean, I wouldn't let that drop. I kept going on and on and on about it. But he said he can have it now. You said I could have it now. And he wasn't. That was obviously just arguing that I'd seen it and I'd blown the surprise. But I could never let things go. I knew it was there, and literally I was counting down the days to get it. That is on a micro. That's a very, very small form of anxiety, because that's almost like an excitement. You can't wait for something. But at the same time, it was anxious. I was anxious about it. It was like, I just remember I could not think about anything else. I got overly excited at Christmas. Unfortunately, I had asthma. When I got really excited at Christmas, I ended up in bloody hospital. And spending right until Christmas Eve one year, I think, was in hospital trying to get my asthma sorted. So right from an early age, I should have managed to keep myself quite calm. And I was born a warrior. Many of us are. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I think it can make you think of more things. You see the bigger picture slightly. If you do worry about stuff, it's because you're not just seeing the positive, you're also seeing the potential of negative. So you do go through you gather more information, a lot more. Where does anxiety hold us back? Well, a lot of time we won't even know we've got anxiety. I'd say nearly 2 years not knowing I had anxiety, and it did get bad. And I say it was a kick in the teeth when I had my first proper full-on panic attack. I ended up being taken up to A&E, thinking I was having a heart attack. And when they told me, I said, "Oh no, everything's fine with you, it's anxiety," I felt embarrassed, because again, I should have noticed this coming in. Now, everyone starts getting anxiety in different ways. For me, when I look back and think about things, I'll tell you what it was. One of the first ones, I kept going away. Sounds strange. Kept going away. And then I felt sort of like unbalanced on my feet. And what it was is my toes were sort of crunching up. It's almost like if I was getting ready to pounce somewhere. And then my hands were sort of like, I was always clenching my hands. And I noticed when I was going down somewhere for meetings, I would sit there and I'd wring my hands. I'd be doing like that. And even now, if I notice that I'm getting a bit like that, I'll make sure that I'll calm myself down, because that is the anxiety. That's me getting anxious, sitting there just fiddling with my hands. Something that I never ever used to do. And I'd noticed it now, and my family noticed it. And I think my family knew I had anxiety well before I did. But then I started getting tingle in my fingers. Eventually my hands went completely numb. They're sort of like desensitized. They feel like, as I said before, as if you put your hands in freezing cold water, then put them into hot water. I have good days, bad days with them. I've been using a lot of sort of meditation, and that has also improved. The other things I noticed with my anxiety was that my body, my shoulders would be really tight on my muscles around my neck. I'd get a lot of neck ache. My arms would hurt. My knees would hurt. And that's because my whole body was being screwed up. Really, really screwed up. And my jawline, I developed like this facial droppage. And what that's caused by is that my mouth, where I was tense, was constantly like that, pushing my teeth up. So all my facial muscles have sort of like given up. They don't know what it's like to smile and relax. And when you get that, of course, other parts of your facial features change because it does start getting stuck in a certain form. It's like, remember when don't make a face when the wind blows or so, or when the wind blows, it's going to stay like it. One of those sayings. But I mean, this for me was sort of true. Is that I didn't notice that I was going around gritting my teeth and clenching my jaw all the time. I used to do that years ago, and that happened just after my dad died. I found out that I was gritting my teeth a lot through tension. So I went to the dentist, they made me a shield, and I sort of dealt with that. And over the few years, I didn't need it anymore. I stopped grinding my teeth. What has happened now is that I'm waking up with a real tight jaw. When you open my mouth, and it hurts all along here. And the way we can stop that is doing a facial exercise. You're right in front of me, and I'm going to open my mouth and pretend to do a face, and it's going to be horrible. So I sort of do that. But what you've got to do is go really stretch your jaw out, and then really push your chin a fast push. Then you do that, you notice all your neck muscles go really tight, and it looks stupid. You look like a fool. But I'll tell you what, you do that, you hold that stretched position for 30 seconds, it really starts to hurt. And that's one way for you to test now if you've got anxiety, is to stretch your mouth open as wide as you can. And if you feel these muscles are really tight around now, then there's chances are that you are walking around clenching your jaw all the time. And the same thing, I was reading up the other day that a lot of men do suffer from like the neck pain and all that. And I was quite surprised. I thought it would be equal, but apparently men are slightly more prone to that. I'd like to see more evidence on that. But yeah, your shoulders, so you're always crunching and all that. Your muscles tighten and stiffen. So the key to that is to a massage works for it, but also learning to relax. And with anxiety, that can be hard. Because first of all, with anxiety, you have to motivate yourself to be able to do it. So sometimes, when all of a sudden we're getting panic attacks, we're getting anxious about going outside the house, we want to avoid social situations, like we turn down parties and going Christmas shopping. And I know that is my big trigger for my biggest panic attack. I knew by that time I had anxiety, and was all ready to go Christmas shopping. And I think it was the 22nd of December. So it was only like the food shopping, the Christmas food shopping. Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't. It was Christmas Eve, and we was going out to get the food shopping. And it was like, I knew it was going to be crazy, and I knew I wasn't going to get half the stuff I wanted. And I actually went upstairs. And first of all, I felt like this warmth, like patches of my skin feeling a little bit warm. And then at the back of my spine, it went really hot and tingly. And it sort of like started spreading all over my body. And like all my hairs all stood on end. And then it was like a fire, as if my whole body was burning. And literally, I was like, trying to rip my clothes off. I was in a right state. Telling my wife to phone for an ambulance. And it's quite stressful even thinking about it now. And yeah, I started trying to be sick, couldn't get off the loo, and I thought I was going to black out. And the sweat was just dripping off me. And in the back of my mind, it started to trigger that this was a panic attack. So I say this is after I had my first panic attack that I wasn't really well. I had a few of those symptoms, but I was more concerned about the pains in my chest and my arms. So I say panic attacks come on in different forms, and anxiety comes out in our body in different ways. For me, this panic attack was like all my skin was just on fire, and I was trying to strip my clothes off. But as soon as I realised that was a panic attack, it started to ease off a little bit. I tried to focus on something, realised I weren't actually going to die. I probably could have just fainted, but yeah, I was still there. So yeah, I knew that it was probably just going to be another panic attack. And since that day, I've been, looking up how can I control that, and I look back to my own teachings. Now, my own teachings about panic attacks were changing your focus. So I don't know if you're sitting in in your outside, count how many bricks you can see on the wall, or look at something how it was made. So if there's a chair there, think about one who made it, who done this, and it's really hard, right? Because all your body and your brain is telling you to run, get out. But if you can actually try and battle that and say, no, for a minute, I'm going to suppress those thoughts and focus on this chair, or count how many panels are in a wall or a ceiling, all of a sudden you'll notice that that sort of, for me, that heat in my body started to reduce. And my fuzziness of my thinking started to come back into more, become more sharper. And I sort of slowly began to regain the control of my body. So distraction techniques does work. Also, I found cold water. I know I've advised my clients in the past to always keep a cold apple in the fridge, because the idea is that if you go somewhere and you bite into something cold, that can sort of like shock you out of your panic attack. And when you've got something really cold there, I mean, you can use ice cubes. You have to have ice cubes. You don't really want to. You could choke on them. But you could choke on an apple as well. But yeah, it's about that shock of having something cold in your mouth. Really ice cold cup of water. Again, it will do the same trick. And it's about changing that moment. So when you have a panic attack, you're losing focus on reality of the world. So if you imagine, and you're in a shopping centre, and you don't like crowds, and you're getting hot. Now, one of the problems is, most of us will go shopping at Christmas, and it's cold outside. We wear like a t-shirt, a jumper, a coat, and we running around from shop to shop. All of a sudden, we get into another shop where the queue's really, really long. All of a sudden, your body starts heating up. You're sweating. Now you feel uncomfortable. That is adding to your anxiety. If it gets more and more crowded, all of a sudden everything seems to become enormous, and it all comes to like shrinking back in as if it's going to crush you. And so that's another thing. There are two versions of that. One that people feel as if everything just goes on and on forever. A bit like that running down the corridor when you never get to the end. That's what a lot of people feel like when they're trying to escape a shop in that sort of situation. And it sounds horrible and terrifying. But what can we do about it? Again, it is looking at our life and managing our life. Now, there are medications that can help you with anxiety, citriptan. Those are the ones they give you a lift and suppress it, and they are very good. But I think they need to work along with your own tools that you can use yourself, and different types of therapy. Counselling works, CBT works, because it's about changing your belief systems and trying to change your rules for living, identify where that has come from, where is that anxiety in your life, what stressors are there that you can change. So we look back, say we look at one client. They were getting massive panic attacks when they were going to work. Now, they had to get on a bus, and that was triggering a panic attack. Why? What's happening? Well, the night before, he started worrying about it around about 7 o'clock at night, about going to work the next day. So it would grow and grow and grow. So he tried to make his days last longer, so he wouldn't be going to bed till really, really late in the morning, because he felt like all he was doing was working. And because he had this fear of getting on the bus again in the morning, he'd try and put it off as long as possible. That meant staying up as late as possible. Which obviously wasn't doing his mental health much good anyway, because he was adding to it. He'd wake up in the morning, his stomach would flip over, he'd feel sick. He spent a lot longer in the bathroom. He was often running late for the bus, and by the time he got off the other end at work, he was sweating. He started taking a change of shirt, just in case he did have like another panic attack on there, because he would literally burn up and just sweat profusely. That again was adding to his problem, because he's now thinking, oh, if I get a panic attack, I'll be like this, I'll be like. He started predicting, and that's one of the biggest problems with anxiety. We start predicting things. It's not just panic attacks. If we start struggling to go out the house, it's because we're predicting that something bad may happen when we're out there. Now, if we go out, we're going to have a panic attack. If we constantly think like that, you probably will have a panic attack when you go outside the house. Because our brain is a little bit clever. If it knows that we've got a fear or phobia, and we'll put ourselves off, it will emphasise all these points. So the closer you get to the door, your heart rate will be going up and up and up. Your breathing will start getting faster and faster and faster. And you've not got, although anxiety is a mental illness, it's not an illness as in such as a sicky bug or something like that. This is something that's coming in from our brain, is affecting our body and our organs to work faster in different circumstances, and it could make us sick or go to the toilet. So we feed that fear. So we get closer to the door, our brain knows we fear it, so it'll start putting physical symptoms into us to make us stop and not go out. And so we get closer and closer to the door, our heart rate increases, we feel sick, we feel dizzy. That is our brain trying to trick us to say, no, you don't want to go out. No, you don't want to go out. And we can look at that. And the early signs of that really, really coming in is when people start putting off going out. So say somebody wants a loaf of bread. They'll wait till somebody's coming round and say, oh, can you pick me up a loaf of bread? Or if they need more shopping, they'll wait till they've got absolutely nothing left in the house. And that is the final straw. They're sitting there for a day with no food, and they finally have to struggle to get out the house. But they've been putting off for a week because that food's been going down. They knew they was going to run out of food, but they left it to that last second, and that actually puts more and more pressure on them. If they could have just gone out once or twice, again, it wouldn't have built up to that stage where all of a sudden they had no food. So it adds up. The anxiety starts building. Very much like the anger management. Anxiety, our body fills up with stress, and our body can't manage it in the correct way sometimes. And when we start having mental health problems, we lose focus. We don't notice these symptoms in our body. So I took my eye off the ball. I didn't see it coming. Really didn't see it coming. Now I look back and I can kick myself, but I'm not going to beat myself up over it. For me, I've turned it into a positive. I've now used my experience to write new course material. It's about trying to be positive about it. Now, after all these years of talking to clients about it, I knew a lot about worrying. Going through what I did with my dad, just stress. I didn't like things like that. I remember my dad going to hospital and I couldn't cope with it. He did have quite a lot of heart attacks. And that, as a young child, I found really, really hard to deal with. And it's something I'd never want to put my children through. So when I thought I was having a heart attack, when this anxiety started coming on, that's all I could think about. That made it worse. And what actually happened that day was that, again, how our brain tricks us. So I got up, I started, my fingers had gone numb by that time, so I really couldn't think of anything. And I looked things up on Google. Do not use Google. And the day that I found out I had anxiety and at the hospital, and I'd woke up and I felt a bit breathless. I felt a bit giddy. And I started thinking, oh no, my heart rate is really, really pounding. Used an app on my phone, took it was 122, kept taking it, 122. So I think, oh my God, I've got like tachycardia. And then it dropped down to 111, just stayed at 111, wouldn't change, wouldn't come down. I was trying to do breathing, it was just stuck there. And I think, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. I could swear that I could feel it jumping in my chest. And then I'm thinking, I've got no pain. As soon as I thought about it, I've got no pain. I started getting chest pain. Then I think about it, it's not going down my arm. As soon as I thought about it, is there a pain in my arm? A pain went down my arm. So yeah, it's my mind putting it there. And I convinced myself by the time I was having a heart attack. And that's another thing with panic attacks or anxiety. We start putting things there in our body. I look back and I say I was a worrier. And a story that I tell all my clients is about worry and how your brain plays a trick on you. In 1985, it was just after Back to the Future came out. And I know that because my dad went out and got me a Back to the Future poster from the video shop. And the money bit. One of my friends became ill at school. Now, my dad really hadn't been that ill. I think it was about that time that he had his first heart attack. And I was convinced that there's something wrong with me. And it wasn't. It was my stomach kept flipping over, making me feel sick. I started getting real bad pains in my stomach. Convinced I was like appendicitis or something serious. I think my mum and dad were quite clued up. And then one night, this has gone on for about a week. And then one night, my mum and dad called up the emergency doctor. And he looked like Father Christmas. So it must have been about 1:30 in the morning. And this guy come in, big white hair, big white beard, really, really skinny. So, yeah, probably weren't Father Christmas. But he prodded me all over my chest, all over my belly, pushed down. Does this hurt? Does that hurt? And he'd done it for about 3 minutes. Then he looked at me and went, "What's the problem then? What are you worrying about? What's causing you like this?" He goes, "Because there's nothing wrong with you." And I turned around, I said, I don't know why, I just blurted it all out to him. Told him I was worried about this, I was worried about that. And as I was speaking, it was all this was escaping me. And I had this like a little bubble of joy went through my body. That all of a sudden somebody was listening to me. And all that pressure that I put upon myself started to release. And literally, as he left that room, I was okay. It never happened again. And it was just that, I thought it was a miracle worker. Well, amazing. Now that's just fantastic. No, he just understood mental health. He understood that the worry that I was putting myself was going to have a negative effect on my health if I didn't let it out, if I didn't talk to somebody. And I think I spoke to him, I must have said so much so fast. And I remember the next day, I was right as rain. I was ready to go back to school. I just had this sort of like excitement built up in me again. And I think that's what happens when we do suffer from anxieties and depressions. We lose that feeling of almost living. That excitement that grows up in our belly. When we was a kid, that feeling on Christmas morning, you'd wake up and you know that those presents are there. You got this joy. It was like, oh yeah, can't wait to go down and see what I've got. And that's what I felt like. Just I was now back to myself. And I still get that now. When there's something that I really enjoy that we can go and do, I get that little urge of excitement. It feels hot as it travels through your body. And it's a bit like butterflies. It's like, oh yeah. So what are the main causes of anxiety? Well, finance is a major one. Family and family's health is another major one. Social pressures. That is where you feel that your friends or your family have a lot more than what you do. It used to be called keeping up with the Joneses. Now I think it's just keeping up with everybody. Especially for kids now, they've got to have the latest mobile phones. At home, we've got to have Sky, broadband, laptops, iPads. We've got to have a nice car. Have children. All these social pressures we put on ourselves. And work's become harder. I know that they're saying that unemployment's at the lowest it's ever been. That's because most of us, or a lot of people, are on 0-hour contracts. I know they're trying to shift that off and up the minimum wage and all that. What they're not telling us, because a lot of places have upped the minimum wage, but they stop paying for your lunch break. You're not really better off.